Well, hello everybody. I'll give it a couple minutes to let people log on. We're going to have a good, detailed talk about what people don't understand, especially of all people, Albertans, and many. And I've tagged Drew Barnes and several lawyers and other former politicians in this post, and some legal experts. We're going to highlight a couple things that came in last night. My mother, of all people, a cousin of mine down south in Drew Barnes' riding, my cousin Brian, sends me a group photo and an email about Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh voting to take over Alberta, particularly over health. And I'm going to tell you where that all comes from, everybody, because apparently I'm the only Albertan who reads, and reads in tremendous detail. I have heard not one word from anybody about this, and that's why I've tagged Drew Barnes. And we're going to see just what people's mettle are, because they sure love to get cranky and hateful over everything, but yet they come with nothing. No facts, no details. And I'm going to take you on a detailed trip that if you bothered to explore any major universities in this country, Canada, you're going to find lots of publications on health transfers, equalization, territorial transfers, and centralization. Lots that goes into a tremendous amount of detail legally where this all comes from in the history of how that formula and formulas have been changed over the years. I'm going to take you guys all on a journey in real legal terms of where I come up with what I come up with and how I got there. It comes from tremendous minds that have come through Canada over many decades. I'm going to take you all on a journey through 1982 and the Constitutional Act of Canada, specifically 1982, where so very many of you focus on the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, where you tell me, oh, Dave, the jab, oh, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's a sneaky little concept you've all ignored because you're so into your freedoms, and I take John Carpe into this too. It's called Section 36, Part C, for all of you who don't like to read anything that doesn't interest you. That's an override, and I'm specifically focused on Part C, the last part of Section 36, 1982's Constitutional Act of Canada. And C states, reasonable amount of essential services. And why I see you, particularly in Alberta, in the last 3 months, Albertans and Canadians, and why I push the jab now, because it's literally life and death for all Albertans. It's going to be for Saskatchewanians too. And people say, Dave, where do you get your numbers? And they want me to do all the work for them, and I won't, because I'm tired of people with a very small acuity to detail and facts. And Drew Barnes, I'm pushing on you because you're the one tweeting out about equalization and how you're going to take that. And I focus on my cousin Brian, way down south in Drew's riding. And is it possible for Jagmeet Singh and Justin Trudeau federally to take over Alberta's health? Yes, it is. Section 36, Part C of the Constitutional Act of Canada, 1982. That Alberta's ratified. You better believe that's possible. And you also better believe that all Albertans are going to share in the anti-vaxxer PPC movement, which gained a lot of traction in Alberta this last election. A popular vote, fairly high in a lot of ridings. And what all those Albertans pushing for it, saying that a $51,000, $500 bill for unvaccinated is no big deal and it doesn't affect Alberta. Well, it most definitely does. Section 36, Part C. You'll see Richard Albert's tagged in this. And you know what? Albertans and Canadians are going to find many many publications on this from many law firms across the country, and many conservatives, real ones, physical conservatives, rule of law conservatives like myself, and how we understand this. We understand the absolute damage to Alberta, that it's now permanent in next year's equalization formula and federal health transfers. Albertans, you're all on the hook for it. The last 3 months and all these months of massive essential services, and why Jason Kenney, even in his love of federalism, is crapping his pants, and it is the absolute end of Ralph Klein. And why my favorite premier of all time, I mean, it's arguable, I got two, but Ralph Klein, who said, over my dead body, and he screamed, I will hire nurses like no province in Canada could. I will hire doctors like no province could, to the likes of which Canada's never seen before, just to stop Canada raping the equalization formula and using it right across the country. And it was Stephen Harper who crushed Alberta and crushed Ralph Klein's narrative, adding that essential services to the formula, changing it forever in 2007, implementing it absolutely by 2009. It amazes me how many people say they're so smart, and I got a law degree, or I'm an economist, I'm all these things, but they can't combine fields, they can't look at law, they can't interpret data, they can't do sweet diddly do. And no politician telling you that. We had Derek Fildebrandt bragging about the debt clock. Well, I'm going to be releasing the equalization formula clock for Alberta and Canada, and what that means for Canada entirely, based just solely on Alberta's GDP and where we're going to be in just 2 short years at the rate we're going, if we don't get the vaccination rates up. And you can all laugh, and you can all, I'm going to get the party done. I called key people in my political party. I've called them. I have more calls to make tonight, so don't be scared if you haven't got a call from me pertaining to my board. We're going to get there, and I'm going to go through it. I can door knock this party into existence all on my own. That's reality. I tried to do a narrative open for everybody in the political world, but it may be I finished these last 3 provinces just on the doors door knocking in the last 3 provinces where they say I could never get through, but I will get it done, and I will still deliver for all those ignorant, all those who say they know better, and they're gonna criticize and run me down and run like little babies, ball babies. But it's the truth and the reality of what we are, and what the monumentous amount of work I've done. And people get upset when things don't work out for them, like spoiled children. That's really what it is. Spoiled children that couldn't do the work for themselves. They can call themselves liberals, NDP, conservative, bloc, and all these other radical ideas that they put forward. But the bad part is it's the left that has a firm grasp and understanding of this, and it's the right that has no clue whatsoever. They don't know the damage that's coming. They don't do the work. There's not enough smart people on the right side anymore. And that's how we're going to fall. And it's coming quickly for Canada. It's coming quickly just for Alberta in its crazy radical narratives. And people can say, oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. My rights and freedoms, 1982. And look, all these enshrined rights. However, Canada quit the ICJ in 1994. We don't have that binding world organ of the UN that gives us access to the Allies. We only have one left, the ICC. I've been telling you all this. A lot of you said you follow me because you want to learn, you want to know better. But when the narrative doesn't go your way, you run because that truth isn't popular for you. And you may very well witness Justin Trudeau take over Alberta's health service sector. take it right away from Jason Kenney. And he is crapping his pants. He's working night and day to get as many Albertans vaccinated as possible to hold on to his health services. Again, for all of you who are incapable of reading or only like to read what you like, the world isn't always about what you like, but what is. And that's what I do. I do the world, the country, the provinces as they really are. That's all I ever do. It's not about popularity. I'm the last populist in the world. And I would burn everything to the ground in social media because I don't even really need it. That's the truth. I do it because I care. It's my love of my fellow man, my fellow Albertans, of course, and my fellow Canadians that I do what I do. And I give it to you straight. I give it to you straight. This destruction of Alberta, that is Jason Kenney's fault, but it's also the fault of all the radical leftists, but extreme radical rights, they call themselves, the anarchists, the socialist anarchists, that don't know the absolute economic destruction. Being anti-vax in Canada right now is the most destructive. I'm going to do a professional YouTube video this weekend. I went on hold. I went back to the Allies. I got the Syria narrative. I got where Canada's place in line is. 28 years, because Canadians aren't loud enough. They can't see the world as it is, and they're in a colonial narrative. The Allies will not deal with Canada and Canadians as they are because you're institutionalized. It's very difficult to even look at it. You beg for abuse, you actually pay for it, as Alberta's paying for it right now. They're abusing the system so badly, and the amount of outpouring. Jason Kenney has $2 billion over and above this essential service limit this year for a province, going beyond the pandemic, beyond all reason and sanity, because he can't get the vaccinated numbers up because he opened the province. When the federal government was sharing that cost and Jason went over and above, he screwed up. So is Scott Moe, and it's going to cost a tremendous amount of money from every Alberta family. And that's the reality of our country. When you combine economics and law together and you look at it as it really is, you discover that you're going to lose a tremendous amount of money because our system's flawed. And somebody's exploited that flaw, and it's going to crush the people of Canada beyond all measure. Trudeau and Singh are going to have no choice but to take over if Jason Kenney can't rein in his health. He can't. And again, everybody who likes to only read the parts of the Constitution they like, and for all you lawyers out there, especially in Alberta right now, I would quote Saskatchewan, but I just haven't got in there enough. But for you, Marilyn Burns, you, Drew Barnes, you, Brian Jean, you, John Carpe, have a good look at Section 36C. I've read a heavy amount of political papers, legal papers by legal companies, law firms, right in Canada alone, more than anybody else. That's clear, more than anybody else. And these people, they go forward with their narratives and they say, yeah, but they couldn't even be bothered to look at the ramifications. Where does Dave get his numbers? Well, it's all in plain legal speak right in front of all of you. I suggest you all start reading some of those papers. They go over decades and decades, and why I do what I do for all of you. And you can hate on me, you can say, oh, what kind of guy? I'm just trying to save as many as I can. Economically, absolutely. Physically conservative, number one. That's what I do. And unfortunately, the Liberals have a vast more amount of knowledge in this area than the right does currently. And it's going to cost a tremendous amount. And Albertans are doing it to themselves. I'm sorry. And honestly, it's Jason Kenney's fault by ignoring the federal system in a global pandemic, ignoring the Constitution of Canada and going by the seat of his pants. It's cost Alberta taxpayers beyond all rhyme and reason. And you will find my numbers are deadly accurate, as they were over all these years, especially for Alberta. I nail it time and time again, and when I nail it for you all, you run like babies, you cry, you scream, you call me every name in the book, you run. But it's you who's killing all the Albertans, and you're the ones who are killing the economy that is going to be unrecoverable. The damage, the economic cost in taxes alone, whether Jason Kenney wants to defer it, he has to hold out. He can't take interprovincial help. He can't take it. Or he opens the door up to absolutely Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh, who can vote in a majority tomorrow. He can lose absolutely all control of Alberta, and they can take it from him. They can take it from him. So don't ever think that I don't love my province, Alberta, and I don't love all of you, but hard truths have to be done, and we got to convince Albertans to turn around on a dime. Turn around on a dime. Because if you don't, Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh are absolutely going to take it from you. And you can thank Jason Kenney for that. He had a chance to turn back. He didn't turn back. And now legally and economically, it's going to cost all the families of Alberta. And it only looks worse for the months to come. And come December 31st, the tail of the tape is in the cost of Alberta's essential services, as the late, great Ralph Klein tried to fight back with but couldn't. And he was betrayed absolutely by Stephen Harper, who irrevocably changed the position of Alberta forever in Canada. Stephen Harper did that. And now Justin Trudeau, whose handlers understand that beyond anybody else, I fight them tooth and nail as best I can. And the only salvation is to see Alberta vaccinate at a rate beyond all the other provinces, because you're beyond all measure of essential services. And it's a $9,000 tax bill coming to all the families of Alberta, which many cannot afford. My Albertans, never mind how many people are dying in Grand Prairie, right across to Fort McMurray, all in between, are going to die because they need to be flown to Calgary or to Edmonton for any major ICU problem right now today. Most will not survive. If you get in a bicycle accident, a motorcycle accident, you get into a car accident, or you have a major heart attack or stroke, you're going to die in those regions. That is the tail of the tape for the last 24 hours. That's the tail of the tape. And not only that, all those families are going to get a $9,000 tax bill put onto them next year. That's reality. Now, it can be deferred, I guess, but it doesn't change the fact that Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh can take over the essential services in Alberta, take it away from Jason Kenney. It will absolutely ruin his political career. Never seen in Canada, but is likely to be seen if Jason Kenney has to implement triage, which it's already looking like it's going to happen. And people can cry and say, oh, it's not true, you're an asshole, I hate you, you're a bastard son of a bitch, and I hope you die. And you can all run from me, and you can not share this, not get it out, and pretend it's not true. But for everybody I tagged here, I suggest you get reading. Many of you are lawyers, and I think you should get reading and get on the narrative, because the damage to Alberta currently and over the last 3 months is permanent. Permanent. I know nobody wants to hear that narrative. Who cares about money? Well, those 1980 Charter of Rights and Freedoms come at absolute expense that was ratified. You all loved it, and you love it today. You all say, my charter, and you use that, but you skip over the addition of Section 36C. And I'd sure love to hear my friend Richard Albert comment on this. One of the top 10 constitutional experts in the world today. He's clearly in the top 10, which 50 have been chosen to write the Constitution of Syria now. That's a fact. And I'm pleased that I had a small role in lighting up the allies of World War II, all 5. For the first time in almost 25 years, they've gotten together, all 5, and they're taking out the Assad regime. They're imposing a full we the people democratic constitution in a totalitarian Islamic regime. Just one of many. Unfortunately, Canada doesn't have the level of impact other countries do, and you should all be thankful for that. But as it stands today, over the last 2 days, and what's come down from the Allies, Canada is 28 years off of being looked at. And that's if no other crazy radical regimes hop queue, like we clearly see Afghanistan, who is now to be taken on after Syria. This is reality. The Allies are awake and they're working diligently. But it takes years to do each one of these radical regimes. Colonialism is going to go, Canada. It's 28 years off, whether I live and die tomorrow, whether anybody else picks up the torch and continues on. Tonight at 7 p.m. I go live Zoom. Thank you, Ian Bjorkman. Thank you for that. I'm in. We're going to get in there and we're going to talk to the best minds in legal construct of constitutionalism for a new Canada, for the First Peoples. We're going to go through September 30th's Truth and Reconciliation Day. I'm going to give the best legal minds in Canada the absolute work. I'm doing that tonight at 7 p.m. I'll have another Zoom done for all of you this weekend that will be put on a YouTube video. It will be a presentation for everybody. I could care less about Facebook. Like I said, for all party insiders, I will be removing those of low IQ bar and who can't make heads or tails of this, who need their rights at all unfathomable expense to Alberta. I can't have you and keep party rolls. I'll be going through that. I can literally door knock my way to the rest of the provinces, which I will publish on Facebook. And it's too bad too many are so institutionalized. It's really too bad. But it will never change my work, and it will never change the love I have for all Canadians, and especially my Albertans at home. I will never stop. I can't be broken, I can't be beaten, I can't be bought. It doesn't matter how many lunatics come forward. I will crush you all in the end, because reality is the truth, and truth is what happens and what we see before us. And you're all going to see it next year, and you're all going to say, remember how we said Dave Bjorkman was a no-good son of a bitch? Well, that no-good son of a bitch cared enough about you to fight, even when everyone pied me in the face, even when I stood against what was wrong, what was in your best interest, whether you knew it or not, what was in the best interest for every Alberta family, whether they knew it or not. There was one Canadian, one Albertan, who fought even when everyone hated me, when everyone abandoned me. I never abandoned any of you, and we'll see who's right or wrong in the end, and we'll see if we can't move the mountain called the Alberta institutionalized Canadian, and we're going to see if we can't get this fixed before it's too late. As much as I hate Jason Kenney, he knows what he's got to get done, and he's got to get those vaccine rates up. He's going to have to educate all Albertans, and I'm going to do it too, no matter how many hate me, no matter how many resist, no matter how many fight. I'm going to do what's best for my people, and I'm going to try to save as many as I can, especially economically, which spells certain doom for so many Alberta families, to the tune of a $9,000 annual tax increase that's what you all face. Now we can put it off forever and ever, but it will be put to the children of tomorrow in Alberta, and there is no getting out of it. And should you all go over the $155 billion line in the sand, which we hit the 106, as I've stated for years, never changing my numbers, it's what you hit. And you have gone past all projections with ICU and essential services in section 36C. Read it, radicals, crazy know-nothings. You're just not smart enough to know what you're doing. You don't know enough about legality and constitutionalism in this broken system to know what you're doing and just how bad it is for every Alberta family going forward. And as these numbers continue, like I said, for the next several months, the damage is impossible to fix unless you all get vaccinated. That's all you have left. How do you like your rights now? That's the only way to save Canada and save Alberta, absolutely, because Alberta's first on the chopping block. Don't kid yourself. Think about that, Drew Barnes. You were on the Fair Deal panel. You're trying to scrap equalization. You're trying to fight a constitutional amendment that everybody voted in 1982. Again, Drew Barnes, Section 36C. Wake up, man. And I don't know why Jason Kenney isn't telling his caucus what I know and what Justin Trudeau and his handlers know. What now Jagmeet Singh knows. What he knows. Albertans have no clue. Canadians have no clue. Largely. And that terrifies me more than anything. Just how inept so many people are. That's my video. If you don't share it and you don't get it out there, there is something absolutely wrong with you. And I can't play anymore. And there's only so much I'm going to do. And then it's going to be, you know what? Dave's got to take care of Dave. And if that takes me to the U.S., I guess that takes me to the U.S. I'll deliver the party and we'll see where you all go. But I don't know. That's that. Bye now.